Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Justin the Food Entrepreneur Show. I'm Justin Bizzarro. I'm your host. That's Bizzarro for anyone who's out there who wants to find us on social media. We use Instagram mainly. That is at Justin Bizzarro and at Justin the Food Entrepreneurs. If you want to find us places online or recommend the podcast to others, we are on multiple platforms. I get a lot of those questions. Yes, we're on Apple. Yes, we're on Spotify. Yes, we're on YouTube. All of those. The YouTube one is in the process of being reloaded since they moved from Google to YouTube. But yes, in any of the syndications underneath, I don't even know how many syndications anymore, but it's more than I can count on my two hands. So it all goes out. You can recommend it to people. They can type in my last name. Usually it'll pop up. And again, that's two Z's, two R's. So with that being said, I have Yafei of Hand-Pulled Noodle House from Orlando, Florida with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Justin.
Did I
Thank
get
you
your
for
name correct? So audience, they know how much it means to me.
Yes.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about you and your business and how you guys got started and your background a little bit. The microphone is yours.
Okay, great. I'm very honored to take over the microphone from now.
It keeps me
So,
from losing my voice.
yeah.
There you go.
So, I'm Yafei, and I am the owner of Walala Hand-Pulled Noodles House in Orlando, Florida. We have opened for very close to 6 months. So ever since I started, our business started booming up. Everything is just so out of expectations. People love noodles and keeps coming in. They felt it was really interesting to try the hand-pulled noodles. So it's actually a family business. Not a lot of people know about that. Me and my dad has been working in hospitality industry for more than a decade. Back in China, oh, by the way, we both are born and raised in China. And back in China, we were doing family business for restaurants as well. We have been open for like more than 10 restaurants in our cities, in our hometown. And all of them were, some of them were doing great. Some of them, of course, were not doing great. So we closed them. That's a little bit background of this family business and about me. I am now turning 27 and I started my career in this industry when I was 16, when I was in high school, and I started my first internship at a hotel all day dining restaurant. And hospitality, I now feel like it's my calling. And because I have never changed my passion towards this industry since I was 16. So I went to Switzerland to pursue my education in this field for my college for 4 years. And after graduation, I joined one of my alumni's company for several months. And then I quit my job because I felt that was not what I wanted. And I went back to my hometown and started my own business along with my dad together. And that's pretty much the very abbreviated version about my career life.
I want to spell it for the audience also. You guys can see it in the title, but it's Walala Hand-Pulled Noodles, just so everyone's aware. I love the logos. I love what you're doing on social media. The thing that actually caught my attention really about it, one was the cleanness of everything, the presentation of the social media, the website, the communication. It was awesome. But the Orlando's noodle eating contest that's sort of been pulled around your noodles. You've been open 6 months. You already have people coming in for the bottomless noodles. Is that the item I'm sort of seeing here that has also brought you a lot of popularity?
Yes. So are you saying like what's the most popular items on our menu?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it is no doubt that our most popular item is called boneless short rib beef stew hand-pulled noodles. We actually did a vote on social media months ago and let our customers to vote out their favorite items. At the beginning, we thought it would be the very classic signature big slice beef shank noodles because that's what we were promoting the most at the very beginning. But it's actually turned out that people love the boneless short rib beef more. So now it's ranked the most popular item spot.
I love this. Talk to me, like, we talked about the Chinese, you're born there, you and your father. You guys came to America. Was it in pursuit of owning your own businesses, having your own dreams? Or talk to me a little bit about what that move was like, getting familiar with the hospitality, language barriers, traditions, all that type of stuff, because it's pretty significant to go from coming in to the United States, for example, and then embracing the free market and being an entrepreneur in the way that you have, in the way that you did. So I just want to highlight that it's a special thing about you guys. You're only 27, and your father obviously has helped raise you and support you into this journey. So I just want to talk about sort of that adventure, that bond, the mother-daughter there, sort of the journey in hospitality to get you where you are, the bad and the good, if you want.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, of course. So we came here about 3 years ago, and we came here actually not for pursuing so-called American dream or start our own business there, because 3 years ago we still had a lot of properties in China. I mean, business-wise, we still had our restaurants opening. So moving here is just for the only purpose for my dad's medical treatment. Back then, he was really not doing good with his health, and he did a surgery to remove a positive tumor. So everything was just only for his medical treatment in Mayo Clinic. And I came here with him together and just to, have more family time and spending more time with my father. That's pretty much about it. And after he got treated and feeling better, it was like 6 months after we moved here. And he felt like he really loved Orlando and everything is great. So he decided to just settling down here and start his own life. So at the beginning, I was not really wanted to work with my dad because I had so much trauma to work with him back in China. We fought too much, and family business is always the most difficult one. Um,
So hard. I worked with my father too. I know this very well. Go on.
yeah,
Go on.
yeah, exactly. So it's so hard. So at the beginning, I didn't want to work with him. But he's like, I have so much good experiences and background. I could definitely thrive here. I was like, probably I would thrive here, but not with you. So actually, after he proposed that idea, a couple months later, I decided to move out and then starting my own job in another Chinese restaurant and started at the position of server. So I started over from the very basic positions again. And at the very beginning, I was not really happy with my job. But months later, I realized that this job helped me so much with getting into the American market, getting into knowing my customers more, and just to serve them and, you know, just to learn this market more. And that's when I feel it's first time I really plugged in to this community. And about a year later, I quit my job again because I'm the type of person like I would never settle down in one job and I just desire freedom. So uh, I,
Yeah. I totally
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. And then a year later, I quit my job. And my dad again extended the offer to me, and I was like, okay, fine. And then I will take it from now. So that's how I joined the team.
I love this. Talk to me about the differences in the hospitality restaurant business in China versus what you're experiencing here.
Wow, there is huge difference for sure. First of all, the customer wise, the American customers are way nicer than the customers in China. I feel bad to say that, but that's true. Because in China, we had fierce competition among restaurants. So people expect very fancy or very perfect items with a very low price. But that is super hard at one hand, and the other hand, it takes so much energy to manage. So here, when we just started, we were really out of control because we didn't know like noodles can be popular here. So at the beginning, we were just like we even didn't have a full menu, and every time a customer comes in, we have to explain, "Oh, sorry, we only have this and that, and all the drinks and blah 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 are not available. Were not available." And all of the customers were being so understanding and super nice, saying that, "Oh, it's okay. I will take you whatever you have." So yeah, that's one hand I really appreciate my customers. And one thing I really want to mention is that now we got really busy and really packed, no matter it's weekdays or weekends. And some of our regular customers they came in, they were like, every time I came in, you guys are packed. And I thought my first thought was that, oh, they're gonna start complaining. Oh my goodness, why do that? Because they might saying that the wait is too long or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry about the long wait or blah blah blah. And they were super understanding by saying that totally fine. I'm so happy for your success. So that's what I really appreciate from my customer. And second, it's just, yeah, again, I mentioned about the fierce competitions among restaurants, be in China and then compare here. Here, I feel like there is more room for us to improve and to grow than in China.
I like this. I think the popularity of probably, well, let's talk about authenticity. Let's talk about doing it the way you did it in China. They're hand pulled noodles. What does that even mean? Because I don't even think people even understand what, as an Italian, we cut our noodles, so we're not necessarily hand pulling them either. So let's talk about what that means. What does it mean to hand pull a noodle?
Okay, so the hand-pulled noodles it actually originates from a province in China called Gansu province, and the capital city in that province called Lanzhou is super famous for hand-pulled noodles. So that's where the hand-pulled noodles originates from. So it's also actually a part of our culture inheritance. The histories of this hampo noodles has already lasted for 1,000 years. And the chef started with a little dough, like a pizza dough. You can imagine that. And then he will like first pull it so it becomes a very thick noodle. And then you will fold it and then pull it again. So it becomes so it doubles the noodles. And then he just repeat that process again and again. And the, during that process, the noodles got thinner and more chewy because he was just like pulling out the noodles all the time. So make the texture really chewy and it's just more delicious, I would say.
I like it. Talk to me about the menu. Talk to me about how did you choose what to pull in? Have you tweaked it based on the surveys that you talked about? You talked about seeing which ones were the best and people's favorite on the menu. But let's talk about sort of it in as a whole, because I think sometimes things are Americanized, but I think in your case, the success is the authenticity as well. Talk to me a little bit about how the sourcing, the mindset that goes into sort of the menu, and what are some of the other menu items we could find on your menu that are
Yeah.
unique to
And yes,
you.
yes, of course. So we have four categories on the menu. One is called hand-pulled noodles. The other is called Hunan rice noodles. The third is called horfan, and the third is Japanese ramen. We started with this menu setup because that's the thing we know the most. I personally, as a very innovative person, creative person, I always have crazy ideas. So actually, I wanted to do something innovative, but it was just like I said, like I might not knowing my customers enough, so it takes a lot of risk by doing that. So me and my dad is just saying, hey, let's just do authentic stuff. That's the thing we know the best. So we started from there. So hand-pulled noodles is, of course, as itself explained, as the hand-pulled ones. And you can choose different toppings. We have spicy, non-spicy, we have short rib, we have chicken, we have vegetarian options. And for jumping into the Hunan rice noodles, so a lot of people were asking that. So what's Hunan? Hunan is actually a province in China again, and that's the place where me and my dad comes from actually. And we love our noodles. We just want to bring that part of our memories to here. And the rice noodles is made of rice. It's not handmade, and it's super silky, and it has just like very different texture among all noodles. The third noodles category is called horfan. So horfan is again type of rice noodles. It's not handmade. It's made of rice and it's super flat and wide and it's silky. So this type of noodles are very popular southern in the southern China area. And the fourth is called Japanese ramen. It's again pretty much self-explanatory. We only serve the very basic stuff like tonkatsu and spicy tonkatsu and chicken. And the noodles for Japanese ramen is also hand pulled. And that's the menu setup for us. And ever since we opened, we keep our eyes on the like menu items. Like we track our data very frequently to see what's the most ordered one and what people's like. So we change our menu already once and to take out something that is not popular and also add something that we would think it's becoming popular in this market, such as pot sticker and pan fried buns. So yeah, that's pretty much about our menu.
Very, very cool. I like it. What do you, I don't even know where to start, because the popularity obviously I think has a lot to do with the quality of your food, the experience. Talk to me about the customer experience that you're trying to give in Orlando. What do you, not only the food being good and high quality like we talked about, but what overall experience are you trying to deliver to your customers? Because you've grown very quickly even on social media, so there's a popularity there that I think is true to who you guys are. And so I want to talk about you guys in that way and how you treat your customers.
Yeah, of course. So our name Walala is actually originates from a French words called voila. The voila means here you go, here it is, here's what you want. So the idea of Walala is just we want to give a very like quick service and very like easy, simple and delightful dining experience. we definitely are a quick service restaurant, but I am trying to not making our customer feel like, oh, okay, I just come into a fast food chain and I take whatever I order and I leave. No. As I said before, hospitality is my calling. So I really want every single person who walks through the door of Walala to experience that hospitality. And they will know that this place is different because of the hospitality. And I actually saw your profile just saying that you are a believer. And I'm proudly to say that I am too. So hospitality, and just recently I found out it's just like it's something that God wants me to spread out in this world, to let people feel welcome, to let people feel they're loved, even though they're just stopping by and having a noodle bowls. I know that because we got busier and because of the popularity, we are really lacking off that part right now. That's where also we have the most complaint about. It's just the server was not paying attention, the server was too busy, blah blah blah. So I now jumping into the serving team and just helping out and making sure every single customer is well taken care of.
Like that. And I think one of the things I liked undertone in there is that, not necessarily everyone's the same and they all want certain things, but you have it because it's your calling, you're able to handle whatever the situation is in a way that is brings joy to the customer and brings benefits to your business, which ultimately brings, praise to God. I'll just say, I'll connect the dots there. And
That's right.
And so I think that that's very important. And when we have that purpose, we do see what we would call success by the numbers. But the reality is the success of our impact and our influence hasn't even started yet. So one of the things I talk a lot about on this show is the impact and the influence of the entrepreneur and how we impact and influence more people than anyone else. Vendors, customers, people that build our buildings, construction workers, restaurant equipment vendors. I mean, the amount of people that we touch as a food entrepreneur or beverage entrepreneur is seriously incredible. And if we talk about how much impact we have every time we touch a human, we touch more humans in our businesses serving food than most businesses do ever in a day.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And so I think that, what we're talking about here is, and I feel it, is there's not only you gained experience and knowledge in your skill, but you've gained exposure in it, and you went and worked in American hospitality to learn what it was like here, and you were humble enough to start at the bottom. I think that's important. Then connected with the skills you already had, it's led to what's happened here. It wasn't, let me go try to conquer this or do this. No, let me have humility, but understand that there's always reasons, seasons, and lifetimes that things fall into. And I think you chose to a changing point, which is, I do love that. Talk to me about employees, dealing with employees in a new country versus China. You had to learn new laws, new what we call human resources. I assume it's called the same over there mostly. But like, how did you deal with all of that, like, differently between here and there? Because I've got to imagine the laws are a little bit different employment wise and with retirement and insurance and all those type of things.
Yeah, it's definitely different, but I would say the human resources here management is way easier than in China. For example, just for my serving team, everybody here for tips, so it's pretty much good. It's pretty much like easy to manage because they have to motivate themselves to get more income. But the thing is also that all of my servers are Chinese, so sometimes they do lack of the sense of hospitality. They don't know how to do the small talks with customers, and it's just hard for them to show the welcome from the restaurant. So that's the part I have to train them the most. Regarding the laws and insurance, I think everything is pretty much similar, but different. So the different part is just like everything has to go through online. I have to submit all the applications online. But yeah, I think the basic inspections and stuff like that are actually similar. Yes.
Awesome. Do you use DoorDash or Uber Eats or a combination of all of them?
Yes, we're on DoorDash and we do have our own delivery. So if people go to our website and choose for delivery, the price on the our website, the online delivery menu is gonna be the same on the dining in. But if you go for DoorDash, I can just tell you right away that it will be higher, the price. So just go for our website if you want a delivery.
How was there an adjustment there? Because one of the things I'm always curious about is you're delivering soup and liquids and stuff like that, and you're breaking it down. Was that a process to figure out how to do it, or were there other people out there, or you saw it in other businesses where you were able to replicate it?
Yeah. So when we deliver the food, the soup and noodles are packed separately. And that's actually a very common thing to do with soup and noodles restaurants.
Yeah, and it's just that otherwise the noodles overcook and get like slimy. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, exactly.
And that, okay. So I think it's just one of the things that I think is so great is everything is always generally at a soup and noodle businesses comes in a way that's not spilled all over the place. It's packaged well. It's better than the industries that aren't dealing with soup that have stuff spilling everywhere. So it's always an interesting thing to me how, because of dealing with a liquid, think about it differently, break apart the components differently so they travel better, so it's fresher when we get it. Yet in other businesses and other verticals in restaurants, we don't think about breaking the food down the same way to preserve the freshness or keep it from getting soggy. I'm just going to make that point because it's something that I'm always fascinated by because I think it's very smart. But let's also keep in mind, I think the first food delivery ever that I know of in the United States was a Chinese food restaurant in New York City, like horse and carriage. So that's just, if I don't know if it's true or not, I think I saw that on the History Channel, but I'm just saying, I think that when there's a history of delivering food in some of those ways, I think the adjustments are there and they're worth noting. We just don't go there to look for it when we're in other verticals. We think those in our same vertical have the solutions for us, whether it's delivery, whether it's menu systems, whether it's operations. But sometimes we need to look into other verticals in the restaurant business to find solution to our problems, particularly all the questions I get about delivery problems and DoorDash and all that. Treat the DoorDash drivers great. They are your word of mouth. Okay. And make it easy for them to deliver your product. Period.
That's right. That's right.
And so I know that everyone thinks they're a barrier and we just said promote ordering directly from you, those who want it. And if you deliver, you can supply that. And if not, your customer at that time is a DoorDash customer ordering food from you. Your hope is that some of your customers who are also DoorDash customers order from you also. That's the goal there, to use it. But you got to build a relationship there, guys, and make it so the driver isn't getting dinged for delivering your food because they will start ignoring it. Like it's something I've talked about before on a different podcast. Like if your food's not easy to deliver, it's spilling all over the place. And I thought this would be a good episode to sort of talk about that because I think one of the things I see online with you is that the delivery is just as good as the in-store. So you're obviously translating customers from in the store to also being delivered the food, and the quality is just as high.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Inspirations in life, motivation, mentors, people you look up to. Talk to me about all of that, like what keeps you going. And that's sort of who's been your motivation and mentors in life or what.
Okay, of course. So the inspiration, I think it's God, period. So again, hospitality is my calling. When I was 16, it's just feeling like hospitality industry is a very fascinating industry. And I love serving people. I love seeing people like being happy after receiving my service. You know, every single person comes to this world with different gifts. And I think one of my gifts is serving and loving. I just love to take care of people and to serve people and see the happy face in like on their face. So the inspiration and motivation first foremost is definitely God. And there is multiple people that I always look up to. And here I really want to mention my previous manager, whose name is Lene. And she is the manager here when I was just a little server. She's an amazing lady. She managed the restaurant super well. She taught me a lot of things, including the like the the food safety laws here and how it's different from China. And she told me how to deal with customer complaint here. And she's super nice to all of our staff. So she also told me how to take care of my staff. So to this day, I manage my restaurant as the similar way how she managed her restaurant. And I always said she is one of the most important person in my life because she told me way beyond that I could ask for from her. And there are also multiple role model that I'm looking up to. I would say it's just in a global wise because I love searching good restaurants and bars. And of course, the good things are always all over the world. So there is a restaurant group called Black Sheep Restaurant Groups in Hong Kong. They're doing an amazing job. This restaurant group has more than 40 restaurants with different concepts, and every single one of them is very unique and successful. So when I always lack of the like innovation or ideas, I will go their website and just to check it out. What's new over I could implement some of the ideas over here. And also there is a burger brand in Switzerland that I always refer to for my Instagram. Like their Instagram page is super creative and super engaging with their audience. So I would just simply say all of my creative idea, most of them are coming from them. Excuse me. So that's yeah, those are the very important people and companies that's being a mentor or role models to me.
That's awesome. Where are you mentioned the Hong Kong group, the Black Sheep, I believe. And if anyone's never been to Hong Kong, it is a place worth going. It's an amazing place. We talked about all the regions of China. There's pretty cool places to go there and try some great food as well.
Yes.
The Black Sheep group, you mentioned that as a role model. Talk to me about your future goals, your future vision, like where you're hoping this goes. You're 27. You're well grounded. You have God as your business partner. That's important. I didn't do that enough before. Definitely doing it a lot more now.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you mention it. And I think it's important that we mention it and we do it as soon as we can in life if we haven't already, to attach God as our business partner in our business. That's just me just saying. But talk to me about the future, the vision. Is there multiple restaurant concepts you have in mind? You're a very creative, ambitious, driven human, and you have very positive optimistic energy. So I'm curious.
Okay. My ultimate goal is definitely to be the restaurant group owner who has like more than 10 restaurants with different concepts. Because like I am the person who is easily to feel bored of doing one thing. So I love like having different concept and just to try out something new for me. It's exciting. But for now, of course, there's a lot of things that we have to fix in Walala, as I mentioned, the serving part, most importantly, and also menu. We still have to cut off some items that is not popular on the menu, and probably we will add something more into the menu. We're not sure about that part yet. Once Walala is stabilized, I want to expand this brand, have the second location here in Orlando. I'm now considering like I-4 exits 67 or 68, where it's in between of Sand Lake and also Universal Studio. I want to like have my second location over there because over that part, there are a lot of tourists and also local people. So I can use the tourist as the word of mouth to spread out my brand. And after the second brand, and then I think that might be the good time. Oh, sorry, after my second location, and I would think that would be the right time to have another new rep because what's the most important thing right now is just you have so many things to learn in this market. I have to grow and accumulate all those experiences that would equate to have my second brand.
I think the strategy is extremely smart. I think it's why brands in New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago tend to do well. There's historically a lot of tourism there. Now we've seen a lot of that tourism, like Orlando's obviously a tourism hotspot. We know why. Walt Disney decided to move there and then turned a swamp into like multiple amusement parks and everything else, and businesses and restaurants and hospitality and entertainment. And one thing I love about Orlando, and I think that you have in your brand, is showbiz, meaning the entertainment part of your business is important. Okay. I'm going to talk about the 4 E's that I think are important as I've done the podcast, and I think you have all of them. This is the first time I've truly brought them up, and I've brought them up in leadership format, but in a business format, you're educating your customers in some way. Okay. There's something new or something different that they haven't had before. Okay. They're getting an experience while they're there. There's good customer service. Everything is being handled. If there's a problem, you address it and make amends and move forward. Even if you're not wrong, make amends anyway. There's some fault in it that you'll find eventually, I'm sure. And we move forward and we grow from it. The other part is exposure. Like, are we exposing them to a different place? Are we exposing them to something that's fun? And that's different than experience. I get what the confusion there. Experience, I believe, is through a service. We experience good service, but our exposure is through the entertainment, which is the next piece, which is the entertainment. How are we entertaining it? What's my exposure in there? Is it a place that I'm looking for? What am I looking for those values? I think everyone can sort of put their own things in their own businesses, and there's 4 E's. But if you're missing the entertainment, meaning sometimes it's small chats, sometimes it's what we just talked about. One of the things that I love about your thing is the popularity it has on social media. That's the entertainment value. That's what's driving it. Why did that happen? Exposure to hand-pulled noodles. Why did that happen? Someone got educated on your restaurant or educated about hand-pulled noodles a long time ago. So all these things play a role. Or are they being more educated in what's going on in your restaurant? Probably. That's what we're talking about. Some people haven't even had noodles or ramen in their lives. It is, there are those that are out there. So I think that that's part of the education and the stickiness of your business. And then on the international part, Nashville, Orlando, when you touch tourists and they take your brand with them, they are eventually your customers when you grow into those areas. Plus, they follow you. Plus, they can be test beds for products out there. I recommend a lot of people go into places that have tourists in their towns or cities, even if it's small, just to have that sort of impact and influence outside of your own community. Anyway, so love it. What are your hours? When are you open? What's your location, and where can they find you on social media?
Right. So our hours from Monday to Friday is 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and then 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We take a lunch break from Monday to Friday. From Saturday to Sunday, it's all the way from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. We don't take breaks. And our location is at Orlando Chinatown, 5062 West Colonial Drive, Suite 120, Orlando, Florida, and the zip code is 32808. Our social media account is called Walala Noodles Orlando, ORL. Yeah.
Awesome. This will be my last question for you. What is your favorite thing about your life right now? What are you enjoying the most?
My relationship with God.
Talk to me about that. What's your favorite verse, or how do you stay in relationship with him? That's a better question.
Yes. So I kept reading his words every single day, and I prayed day and night. And before I started my work day, or like just before I officially start my day, I always say, God, I fully commit my day into your hands, and I just will solely be led by your Holy Spirit. Whatever you ask me to do, I will do it. Whatever you ask me to say, I will say in bonus. And one thing I kept in my prayers every single day is just to ask God to help me to be a godly leader and godly business owners. And that's what helps me to get here.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate your vulnerability and sharing your business. I'm definitely going to have you back on. I want to ask you more questions and things like that, and pick your brain on a few more things and get your episode out there and let the guests and audience get some questions in, because I'm sure they have some, and get you back on. I would love to do that if you're be interested.
Of course, I will definitely be interested to share more.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everyone in the audience, if you liked the episode, if you like the story, obviously the first thing you can do is go to Walala Hand-Pulled Noodles, follow them on social media. If you're in Orlando, go there, try their product, order it, go to the restaurant, whatever. That's the number one way you can support them. Okay. Those things matter, like the reels, like the videos. If you're not there, second way, third way, you like the episode, share the episode, especially if someone's out there trying to be a food entrepreneur, struggling, going through something. These episodes have helped. That's the influence I hear the most, is how much the guests on the show are being mentors to the entrepreneurs that are out there in the world trying to figure it out. And the other part is the fellowship and realizing you're not alone through hearing other people's journeys. I'm going to stop saying stories. I'm actually probably going to change it in all the text. So if you see everyone that the episode notes change, it's because we no longer just tell a glimpse of a story. Everyone, the food entrepreneurs, they've basically almost community around the show, and they want it to keep going, and they want to keep telling their stories just as much as I want to keep telling them. So it's more like journeys. So I do keep doing that. Some of them 2, 3, 4, 5 years later. Some of them have been on since day one, 6 years ago. So big deal. I think we change, we pivot in business, we grow, we get humbled, all of those things. So we learn different skills. It's important to document it as an entrepreneur. And if we're truly telling the story of the entrepreneur and trying to help the entrepreneurs, yes, there's glimpses into us, but there's also being alongside of us as we go through it and being able to have that journey together so we all better the world for the future better than we have it here. We have the ability to do that through technology, through resources, through having conversations like we just had. So thank you very much for coming on the show. I so appreciate you. I can't wait to have you back on.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, Justin. And all the audience, just follow him and then spread the words, share this podcast to whatever you think he has to hear.
Yeah. I can't wait to have you back on. And audience, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And we're out.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.